Hey guys, it's
be
Wednesday.
better than you are. You could be swinging on a star.
We'll be learning about Bing Crosby. Bing was born May 3rd, 1903, as Harry Lillis Crosby. Growing up in Washington State, Bing was the fourth of 7 children to an English-American father and a second-generation Irish-American mother. When he was 6, Bing got his nickname from a friend. In 1910, a mock hillbilly newsletter called the Bingville Bugle was released. Bing loved it. A neighbor who also loved it nicknamed young Bing Bingo from Bingsville, and eventually the O was dropped and the name stuck. Bing first debuted as a drummer in a small band that traveled and did small shows for like schools, dances. Through that, he formed a vocal duo with Al Rinker. Rinker's sister introduced the duo to Paul Whiteman, one of the most famous big band leaders of the day, and that's where they got their start. Whiteman eventually added a third member, Harry Barris, and together the group was called the Rhythm Boys. Over time, Bing's growing dissatisfaction with Whiteman caused the group to quit and join the Gus Arnhem Orchestra. Through that orchestra, Bing increasingly became the frontman of the group, and eventually a falling out led them to disperse and Bing to start his solo career. On September 2nd, 1931, Bing made his solo radio debut, and by the end of the year he signed with a record label as well as CBS Radio. To quote some statistics from Wikipedia, Crosby was among the most popular and successful musical acts of the 20th century. 383 chart singles, including 41 #1 hits. Crosby had separate charting singles in every calendar year between 1931 and 1954. The annual re-release of White Christmas extended that streak to 1957. He had 24 separate popular singles in 1939 alone. Billboard's statistician Joe Whitburn determined Crosby to be America's most successful recording act of the 1930s and again in the 1940s. Not only was Bing a singer, but he was also an actor. Crosby's film debut was in 1930 with The King of Jazz, a musical tribute to Paul Whiteman, who he was working for at the time. Next, Crosby did a series of short films, launching a career that would last the rest of his lifetime. Between 1930 and 1974, Crosby had a role in 104 films, be it starring, co-starring, cameo appearances, or narrations. Most famous, perhaps, is his movie White Christmas, which many unknowingly claim to be the debut of the song White Christmas. In fact, this monumental Christmas song, written by Irving Berlin, was first released during a Christmas radio broadcast in 1942. A year later, during one of my favorite movies, Holiday Inn, the famous song was released again. It wasn't until 13 years after the original debut of the song that White Christmas was made. Despite his many roles, Bing won his first and only Academy Award for his role in another of my favorites, Going My Way, for portraying a lighthearted priest. This movie is one that gave us songs like the title song where Bing asked audiences if they were going my way, and the ever popular Swinging on a Star. Crosby went on to make a sequel entitled The Bells of St. Mary's, receiving another Academy Award nomination but not winning. He made a series of films known as the Road series. These featured titles such as The Road to Zanzibar, Road to Morocco, Road to Bali, and was working on another road film that was meant to be a parody of the whole series called The Road to the Fountain of Youth. These movies are still the inspiration of buddy movies today. These featured Crosby along with Bob Hope and Dorothy Lamour. The road movies involved Crosby and Hope together on some sort of adventure to save Lamour's character from whatever trap she managed to be in then. The movies were a hit and created a pair that couldn't be beat. Hope and Crosby continued to work together in television broadcasts and many other ways throughout the rest of their careers. Unlike his laid-back persona in many of his movies, Bing was said to be a bit withdrawn from others. He was hard to gain the trust of and had frequent mood swings. A hard person to be close to, he had few close friends. He enjoyed golfing as a chance to get away from everything, and was on a golf trip in Spain when he died. It's widely accepted that after winning 18 rounds of golf with his Spanish golfing partner, His last words before he collapsed from a heart attack were, "That was a good game of golf, fellas." When he heard the news, his partner Bob Hope canceled his show that night, which was the first time he had ever canceled a show before, stating that he just couldn't be funny. While Bing may be remembered for his voice, it's really important to also think of him for everything that he did. All the innovations that he brought, which I don't have time to talk about, but maybe later. But about all the innovations he brought to the media and the way we hear things. And generations continue to be inspired by the work of this giant of entertainment. So I will leave you with a little bit more of Bing. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I do. And Lisa, we'll see you tomorrow.
Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a mule